The morning mist hung low over the rolling hills, soft and damp, clinging to the grass like a thin veil. Sunlight struggled to pierce the thick fog, casting a muted gold over the uneven terrain. A solitary figure moved quietly through the dew-soaked field, boots sinking slightly into the soft earth. The air smelled faintly of wet soil and decaying leaves, a scent both grounding and unsettling, as if the land itself carried the memory of everything that had lived and died upon it. Nearby, in a small, weathered clearing framed by ancient oaks and scattered stones, a tiny mouse scurried nervously across the ground. Its fur, mottled brown and gray, blended perfectly with the litter of fallen leaves and twigs. The mouse paused occasionally, its black eyes scanning for movement, twitching whiskers feeling the vibrations of the world around it. Every sound was a potential threat. Every shadow could conceal a predator. It nibbled on a discarded kernel of grain, its tiny teeth working quickly before it darted under a broken root for cover. From a distance, a larger presence approached, deliberate but cautious. A dog, sinewy and lean, padded softly over the damp grass, ears perked and nose low to the ground. Its coat was a mixture of tans and browns, streaked with mud from previous nights spent roaming the fields. The dog sniffed at the air, following the faint scent of the mouse. Its muscles tensed, tail flicking slightly, eyes narrowing. The mouse twitched at the faintest sound of paws brushing against wet leaves, its heart hammering. Yet, it did not flee entirely. Curiosity and the instinct to survive kept it close enough to watch. The dog's patience was evident. It did not rush. It knew the chase was a delicate dance. It inched forward, silent on the grass, sensing every tremor beneath its feet. The mouse froze completely, and for a moment, the world seemed suspended. Then, as if making a decision to risk a moment of vulnerability, the mouse darted across an open patch, aiming for a crevice beneath an old stone wall. The dog followed, a fluid motion of speed and intent, paws striking the earth with careful precision. Yet the mouse slipped through a narrow gap, vanishing from sight, leaving the dog to pause, head tilting as it sniffed the empty space dot beyond the clearing. The landscape opened into a small copse of trees, where a fox waited quietly, half hidden in the underbrush. Its fur was a fiery red, tipped with black along the ears and tail, eyes glinting with an almost calculating intelligence. It had observed the interaction between the dog and the mouse, learning the habits of both creatures, knowing that opportunities often came to those who waited. The fox's nose twitched at the scent of the mouse's hasty escape. It was patient, disciplined, understanding that nature rarely offered rewards without the willingness to wait. Meanwhile, farther along a nearby stream, a family of birds chirped nervously in the tall reeds, sensing the presence of unseen predators. Tiny insects buzzed around the water's edge, and the occasional rustle in the grass hinted at life moving beneath the surface. A small frog jumped into the water with a soft splash, disturbing the calm reflection of the foggy morning. Each life interacted with another, a delicate web of survival where the smallest movements could trigger reactions across species. The mouse, now hidden safely in the wall's crevice, began to nibble at a cluster of fallen seeds, ears twitching with every sound. The dog, after a few moments, abandoned the pursuit, turning back toward the clearing, tail lowered, aware that the morning hunt had not yielded its prize. The fox, too, remained patient, eyes scanning the ground for another sign, another chance. In the quiet, the world seemed to breathe collectively, the rhythm of predator and prey creating a tension that hummed softly through the air. Later, as the sun climbed higher, the field warmed slowly. The mouse ventured out again, moving with calculated caution. It paused near a discarded scrap of grain, lifting its tiny head to sniff the air. A breeze carried scents from miles away, the faint aroma of decaying leaves, the metallic tang of nearby water, and the distant musk of a predator. Every movement was measured, every bite calculated. The mouse ate only what it could reach safely, aware that survival was not about hunger alone, but about the ability to live another day. The dog, now pacing along the edge of the copse, sniffed at the ground, tail wagging slightly with the anticipation of movement. Its sharp ears caught the sound of rustling leaves, small vibrations signaling the presence of something edible. It paused, crouched slightly, and then charged forward, chasing a shadow that disappeared under a thick bush. Nature's classroom was unforgiving. Mistakes were costly, and every creature was learning, always learning. A fox, hidden beneath a tangle of roots, observed silently. It was patient, knowing that not all meals came quickly and some required hours of observation. Its eyes glinted with a sharp intelligence, calculating the chances of success, recognizing patterns in the behavior of the dog, the mouse, and the wider forest. Time and patience were as vital as speed and strength, and the fox had mastered both. As midday approached, the field came alive with movement. Small rodents scurried, insects buzzed, birds called from the trees, and the occasional distant howl of a larger predator echoed through the hills. Each creature took its turn consuming what the world offered, whether it was seeds, insects, small mammals, or discarded scraps. Life was not leisurely. It was a careful negotiation with the surrounding environment. Hunger dictated action, but intelligence dictated survival. The mouse, cautiously leaving its crevice, navigated toward a patch of wild berries, selecting only the ripest and least risky fruits. The dog, now resting in the shade of a large oak, scanned the field intermittently, ears alert. It did not need to hunt constantly. Even the scavenging opportunities offered by discarded prey provided sustenance. The fox moved stealthily along a ridge, blending seamlessly with the autumnal hues, eyes trained on a distant flicker of movement. Hours passed, each moment building upon the last in an intricate dance of life and death. The field, once still under morning mist, now throbbed with activity, a symphony of survival. The mouse survived by instinct, the dog by agility and perception, the fox by patience and cunning. Each consumed what was available, from the tiniest seeds to the unguarded young of other creatures, each playing its part in a system as old as time itself. Night began to fall, casting long shadows over the field. The mouse retreated to its burrow, safe for the night, while the dog returned to the edge of a human settlement, searching for scraps left behind. The fox, unseen, slinked through the underbrush, eyes gleaming in the last light, securing its place in the cycle of survival. The land itself seemed to exhale, the day's activity leaving behind a faint pulse in the soil, the grass, and the water, a reminder of the ceaseless rhythm that governed all life. Even as darkness spread, the lesson of the day lingered. Survival was a complex blend of awareness, timing, risk, and opportunity. Each creature had learned, adapted, and consumed according to what the moment allowed. From the smallest mouse nibbling seeds to the cunning fox assessing its prey, the field was alive with the practical, unglamorous reality of existence. This was life as it had always been, immediate, relentless, and unflinchingly honest, and so the cycle continued, unseen by human eyes, unnoticed except by those attuned to the subtleties of nature. Each bite, each movement, each decision mattered. The mouse would eat again tomorrow, the dog would hunt again, and the fox would wait, calculating, always calculating for the next opportunity. Hunger dictated choices, but survival dictated strategy, and this was the world's unspoken truth, witnessed silently by all who had learned to live within it. Dawn broke slowly over the hills, painting the sky with pale shades of pink and gold. A cool breeze drifted across the fields, carrying the scent of damp earth and early morning dew. The world seemed to stretch and yawn as if waking from a long, dreamless sleep. In a hollow near the edge of a forest, the mouse stirred, its small body pressing lightly against the warmth of its nest. The previous day's dangers still lingered in its instincts, subtle tremors that guided its decisions even as it ventured out for the first meal of the day. Tiny paws moved silently over the soil, each step deliberate. The mouse paused to nibble at a piece of grain, a fragment left behind by birds or scattered by the wind. Its whiskers quivered, tasting the air for threats and opportunities alike. In the distance, the faint rustle of underbrush hinted at movement, a larger animal, perhaps a dog or a fox, crossing its path. The mouse froze, heartbeat rapid, then decided to remain still, relying on camouflage and patience rather than flight. Survival demanded both courage and calculation. Meanwhile, the dog, now fully awake, padded along a faint path carved through the tall grass. Its nose tracked the scents left overnight, small mammals, birds, and insects, all part of a vast buffet that the field had quietly offered. Though hunger drove its actions, the dog's experience tempered its impulses. It did not chase every shadow, did not pounce on every flicker of movement. Instead, it moved with awareness, measuring distance, angle, and risk, aware that exhaustion could be as lethal as hunger. The fox, ever watchful, emerged from its concealed spot under a twisted tree root. Its eyes, sharp and calculating, scanned the morning landscape. Every creature left traces, subtle signs of activity that spoke volumes to those who could read them. The mouse's tracks, delicate and faint, led to a cluster of wild berries. The dog's path created disturbances in the grass that the fox noted carefully. Knowledge of these patterns was as crucial as speed or strength, and the fox had mastered the art of silent observation. As the morning progressed, the mouse ventured further from its nest. Each step was cautious, deliberate, an interplay between hunger and fear. It found small seeds tucked beneath a patch of moss and nibbled carefully, eyes darting between potential threats and open spaces where it might scurry to safety. The surrounding environment seemed alive with predatory energy. Shadows shifted in rhythm. With the rising sun, the wind carried scents of unseen hunters, and the sound of twigs snapping underfoot warned of approaching danger. The dog paused at a shallow stream, lapping water cautiously, nose twitching as it detected the faint scent of the mouse and other small creatures nearby. Each sip refreshed its body, but also heightened its awareness. It had to drink, yet remaining still was equally vital. The dog's instincts guided it seamlessly between need and caution, every movement in negotiation with the invisible laws of survival that govern the field. Beyond the stream, the fox crouched low in the grass, tail brushing the soil lightly. It had observed the mouse from afar, noting the rhythm of its movement, its habits, and its cautious pauses. Timing was everything. The fox knew that an abrupt chase could alert the dog or the mouse, reducing the chances of success. Patience, precision, and knowledge of the terrain were its allies. Every stalk, every calculated shift of its body demonstrated the quiet intelligence required to thrive in such a landscape. In another corner of the field, insects swarmed around decaying plant matter, consuming, pollinating, sustaining themselves quietly in the ecosystem. Birds flitted from branch to branch, snatching worms from the soil, their bright eyes reflecting the sun. Each action was interdependent, a fragile balance of life, with one creature's success or failure subtly influencing the choices of the others. The mouse, despite its size, played a critical role. Its consumption of seeds aided in dispersing plant life, while its vigilance kept predators alert, maintaining the cycle of alertness and adaptation. Mid-morning brought a sudden disturbance, a hawk slicing across the sky, wings stretched wide, shadow passing over the grass in an instant. The mouse froze, muscles tensing as its body pressed against the earth. Even the dog paused, ears perked, sensing the overhead predator. The fox remained still, evaluating the shift in risk. Each predator and prey reacted not just to immediate threats, but to the subtle movements of the environment, interpreting changes in light, sound, and air pressure to predict outcomes. After the hawk passed, the mouse cautiously resumed its search for food, discovering a patch of worms near a damp patch of soil. It dug with tiny claws, pulling them free and consuming them efficiently. Hunger drove the mouse to take risks, but instinct dictated timing and placement. The dog, observing from a distance, noted the activity. It was not yet worth chasing. The terrain, the mouse's speed, and the possibility of another predator in the area required careful planning. The fox, aware of both the mouse and the dog, shifted slightly, maintaining concealment while adjusting its position. It assessed wind direction, the potential escape routes of the mouse, and the dog's path. Each factor influenced its choices. In a landscape where life and death were separated by seconds and inches, knowledge was power. By midday, the field had become a mosaic of activity. The mouse moved among small piles of food seeds, insects, and plant matter, consuming what it could reach safely. The dog patrolled a wider radius, marking territory and taking advantage of opportunities where smaller creatures had left remnants of their meals. The fox continued its silent observations, waiting for the optimal moment when the mouse or dog's attention lapsed, and the meal could be secured with minimal effort. The sun climbed high, casting sharp shadows. The air was thick with warmth and the faint smell of earth and life, mixed with the odors of predator and prey. Every creature consumed according to instinct, intelligence, and circumstance. Some ate immediately, some waited, and some scavenged what others had missed. Hunger dictated behavior, but survival required foresight, adaptability, and understanding the unpredictable nature of the world around them. As afternoon approached, small shifts occurred. The mouse discovered an overturned log, beneath which a collection of insects had gathered. It took what it could, aware of every sound, movement, and scent. The dog, sensing a shift in prey activity, adjusted its path, circling cautiously while remaining partially hidden in tall grass. The fox, patient as ever, watched from a slight elevation, calculating the best angle of approach, considering wind, distance, and timing. The field, once quiet at dawn, now thrummed with activity, the subtle interplay of life and hunger creating a tension that was both visible and invisible. Every moment mattered. Every choice had consequences. The mouse, the dog, and the fox were all engaged in the same fundamental struggle, each consuming what was necessary to persist, each adapting to the presence and actions of the others. Even as shadows lengthened toward evening, the patterns continued. The mouse retreated occasionally, only to emerge again when the risk appeared minimal. The dog rested intermittently, conserving energy, remaining alert to opportunities. The fox remained vigilant, eyes never leaving the scene, learning, calculating, and preparing. Hunger, survival, and instinct bound them all in a silent, continuous dance. As the day began to fade, the mouse found a patch of berries that had ripened fully under the sun. Carefully, it consumed each one, pausing frequently to survey the surrounding area. The dog shifted closer to the edge of the forest, ears twitching, nose scanning. The fox adjusted its position, body low, tail barely brushing the grass, ready to strike if chance permitted. Night approached, signaling a temporary pause. Yet, even in darkness, the lessons of the day lingered. Survival required a constant negotiation between risk and reward, hunger and caution, patience and action. Each creature, from the smallest mouse to the agile dog to the calculating fox, understood these rules, lived by them, and prepared for the cycle to continue once the sun returned. Twilight descended slowly, casting the world in muted shades of purple and gray. The air cooled, carrying the faint scent of damp earth and decomposing leaves. Shadows stretched long across the field, stretching the familiar landscape into shapes that seemed both familiar and strange. The mouse, having spent the day gathering small morsels of food, retreated deeper into its burrow, pressing against the soft walls, alert to the faintest vibration above. Even at rest, the mouse remained tense, every nerve attuned to potential danger. Outside, the dog wandered near the edge of the settlement. Human presence had altered the landscape, leaving discarded scraps and half-eaten meals. A buffet for scavengers willing to take calculated risks. The dog's nose twitched, nostrils flaring with each new scent, the faint trace of chicken bones, the lingering smell of cooked meat, a faint trace of another dog's passage. Hunger drove it forward, but experience tempered its impulses. It avoided areas where humans were most likely to be, relying on stealth rather than strength alone. The fox moved silently through the underbrush, nearly invisible against the shadows of twilight. Its red fur, muted in the dim light, blended perfectly with the browns and grays of the forest floor. Eyes glinting, ears pivoting to catch even the smallest sound. The fox observed the movements of both the mouse and the dog. It understood patterns, rhythms of behavior, and the subtle cues that indicated opportunity. Tonight, like every night, patience would determine success. As darkness thickened, nocturnal creatures began to stir. A family of rabbits emerged cautiously from their burrow, noses twitching as they sniffed the night air. Crickets began their chorus, a rhythmic background hum that filled the air. The mouse, hidden in its burrow, sensed these changes and adjusted its behavior accordingly. Each shift in the environment, each sound, each scent dictated choices: when to eat, when to move, when to hide. Suddenly, a movement above the field caught the fox's attention. A barn owl swooped silently from a nearby tree, wings spread wide, eyes fixed on the ground. The fox froze, calculating the risk. The owl's presence would disrupt both the dog's and the mouse's activities. Predators had to be aware not just of their prey, but also of other predators that might compete or interfere. The field, seemingly simple at first glance, was a complex hierarchy of life, each creature negotiating space, risk, and opportunity. The mouse, sensing the change in air currents, paused mid-bite on a small insect. Whiskers twitched, ears pivoting toward the faintest sound. Even the slightest motion in the shadows could mean life or death. The fox, noting the mouse's pause, adjusted its approach slightly, staying low to the ground, body coiled in readiness. The dog, meanwhile, sniffed the air, aware of both prey and potential threats nearby. Its instincts were honed to interpret these subtle signs, balancing energy conservation with the necessity of movement. Minutes passed with the tension unbroken. Each creature maintained a careful equilibrium, waiting, observing, learning. Then the mouse, emboldened by a brief lull, ventured out of its burrow to retrieve a small seed that had fallen near the entrance. It moved cautiously, tiny paws making almost no sound against the earth. The dog, sensing the motion, shifted position slightly, muscles coiled for potential pursuit. The fox, reading the body language of both prey and competitor, inched closer to a favorable vantage point. Every movement calculated. Night deepened, and the field transformed under the faint light of the moon. Silver illumination highlighted the glistening dew on grass blades, reflected off small puddles of water, and created moving shadows that could deceive even the most experienced predator. The mouse's movements were deliberate. Every bite, every step, every pause was a negotiation with risk. The dog, guided by instinct and experience, continued to patrol quietly, aware that a small reward might come from patience rather than reckless pursuit. The fox, methodical as ever, mapped out angles, wind direction, and escape routes, knowing that success would be won not by speed alone, but by timing and intelligence. As the hours passed, the interplay of predator and prey continued. The mouse consumed seeds, insects, and occasionally tiny pieces of plant matter, each meal small but sufficient to sustain energy through the night. The dog scavenged along edges of human habitation, finding leftovers and remnants, each bite reducing hunger and conserving energy for the unpredictable chase that might come. The fox, unseen, calculated every possibility, aware that its survival depended not just on skill, but on patience and understanding of the environment. Suddenly, a low rustling sounded near the mouse's burrow. It froze instantly, ears swiveling, body pressed to the earth. The fox, now closer, noted the reaction, adjusting its stance, ready to exploit hesitation if it presented opportunity. The dog, hearing the disturbance, pricked up its ears, alert but cautious, unwilling to reveal its presence prematurely. The field was a living chessboard. every piece moving according to instinct, strategy, and the immediate reality of survival. The mouse, after a moment of hesitation, moved cautiously toward another patch of food, a small cluster of berries tucked under an old tree root. It ate quickly, stopping intermittently to scan the surroundings, heart racing with both hunger and fear. The dog, observing from a distance, weighed its options, considering energy expenditure versus potential reward. The fox, perfectly still, waited, calculating the precise moment to act if opportunity presented itself. The night deepened further. Crickets continued their incessant song, owls hunted silently from above, and the occasional small mammal scurried through the underbrush. Each creature played its role, contributing to the quiet symphony of survival that unfolded across the field. The mouse, the dog, and the fox each consumed what they could, always aware of one another, each action affecting the next. Hunger dictated behavior, but intelligence and experience guided choices. As dawn approached, the first pale light crept across the horizon, slowly illuminating the field. The mouse retreated into its burrow, satisfied with the night's consumption. The dog rested near the edge of the forest, still alert but conserving energy for the day ahead. The fox slunk back into concealment, having neither pursued nor been pursued. Lessons of patience and observation solidified through another night of quiet vigilance. Even as light returned, the cycle of life remained unbroken. Each creature had fed, observed, and survived, learning anew from the interactions of the night. Hunger and risk, patience and instinct, awareness and adaptability all intertwined in a seamless, unspoken rhythm. The mouse would emerge again, the dog would patrol again, the fox would wait and calculate again, each playing its role in the ever-turning wheel of survival. The morning air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of damp earth and distant smoke from human settlements. The field stretched wide, a patchwork of grass, wildflowers, and scattered stones. The mouse emerged cautiously from its burrow, nose twitching as it assessed the morning. Hunger had returned, persistent and insistent. But so had the awareness of predators that roamed the same space. Every movement was deliberate, calculated, every nibble weighed against the risk of exposure. A gentle breeze rustled the tall grass, sending tiny vibrations across the ground. The mouse paused, ears rotating, sensing even the faintest disturbance. Somewhere nearby, the dog was already on patrol. Its movements were deliberate, paws sinking slightly into the moist soil, nostrils flaring with the smells of the night and early morning. Every leaf that cracked beneath its weight was an opportunity to detect life's small creatures, discarded scraps, or the scent of another predator. The fox, hidden beneath a dense cluster of shrubs, observed. Its eyes, amber and sharp, tracked every subtle movement of both the mouse and the dog. It understood timing, distance, and positioning elements of hunting that were as critical as speed or strength. From this concealed vantage point, the fox could learn patterns, anticipate reactions, and strike with minimal effort if the opportunity arose. Its patience was a weapon as powerful as its claws or teeth. The mouse, emboldened by a brief lull, ventured toward a patch of wild seeds scattered along the base of an old oak tree. It sniffed the air, whiskers quivering, ensuring no immediate danger approached. Tiny paws moved delicately over the soil, each step measured. The mouse retrieved a few seeds, pausing frequently to listen and observe. Instinct guided every bite, reminding it that survival depended not just on finding food, but on eating it safely. The dog, following a faint trail of scent, approached the oak cautiously. Its head lowered, ears forward, and tail subtly swaying. It picked up the mouse's trail, but did not rush. Experienced as it was, the dog knew that haste could alert the prey, or worse, trigger encounters with other predators. The dog's strategy was subtle, a combination of observation and patience. It circled the area, waiting for the mouse to emerge further or expose itself in a more accessible position. The fox adjusted its stance slightly, moving silently to maintain an unobstructed view of the scene. It had noted the patterns of both the dog and the mouse over the past days. The fox understood that timing was everything. Acting too early could mean failure. Acting too late could mean missing the opportunity entirely. Its body was coiled, every muscle ready to respond, yet perfectly still, merging with shadows and the landscape as the morning progressed. The field came alive with other creatures. Birds flitted from branch to branch, pecking at insects and seeds, while insects buzzed among flowers and grasses. Small rodents and lizards stirred beneath rocks and fallen logs, each engaging in the quiet struggle for survival. The mouse moved cautiously among them, taking advantage of distractions, but always aware of the larger predators observing. The dog shifted closer, picking up the pace slightly. It followed the faint scent of the mouse, paws moving silently over moss-covered stones and wet earth. Every movement was calculated. The dog relied on instinct honed over countless mornings of hunting and scavenging. It understood that survival and a successful meal required more than mere speed. Observation, timing, and patience were equally essential. The fox continued its silent vigil, eyes tracking every subtle twitch of the mouse's body, every rustle of grass from the dog's passage. The fox had learned that in nature, the smallest gestures could betray the largest intentions. Timing, angle, and anticipation were more important than brute force. The fox remained unseen, a shadow within shadows, perfectly attuned to the unfolding dynamics between predator and prey. The mouse paused at a small patch of berries hidden under a low bush. It nibbled cautiously, ears rotating with every sound, whiskers twitching as if tasting the vibrations in the air. The dog, observing from a distance, began to circle slowly, testing the terrain, measuring risk and reward. The fox, noting both prey and competitor, adjusted its angle, ready to act at the precise moment when advantage could be gained. A sudden sound of snapping twig from a passing bird caused the mouse to freeze. Its tiny body pressed to the ground, heartbeat quickening. The dog, hearing the same sound, stiffened for a moment, but remained hidden, calculating the significance. The fox, perfectly still, processed the event, noting how the mouse's response might influence subsequent behavior. Every minor detail in this ecosystem carried consequences. Hours passed, the interplay of predator and prey continuing without a single unnecessary movement. The mouse consumed small amounts of seeds, berries, and insects, balancing energy intake with safety. The dog patrolled, occasionally stopping to assess the environment, aware that any sudden movement could disrupt the delicate balance. The fox maintained observation, waiting for a moment when its patience and understanding could turn into advantage. By midday, the sun had risen high, warming the field and illuminating every texture, every shadow. The mouse paused under the shade of the oak, nibbling a final few seeds before retreating slightly toward the cover of dense grasses. The dog lingered near the edge of the open field, muscles coiled, alert to the faintest signal of movement. The fox shifted slightly in its hiding place, calculating how the day's energy expenditure might influence the behaviors of both dog and mouse. Insects droned in the heat of the sun. Birds moved from branch to branch, calling, feeding, and observing. The field was alive with quiet action, each creature engaged in the relentless pursuit of survival. The mouse, small and vulnerable, moved strategically, consuming what it could while avoiding exposure. The dog remained aware, ready to exploit any mistake. And the fox continued its vigil, understanding that opportunity often came in subtle increments rather than sudden bursts. Even as shadows grew longer toward evening, the dynamics remained unchanged. The mouse retreated cautiously, the dog paused, and the fox observed. The intricate balance of hunger, caution, observation, and timing dictated every choice. The field, seemingly ordinary, was a stage for a ceaseless, unspoken competition that had existed for centuries. Every bite mattered, every step mattered, every decision carried weight in the eternal rhythm of life and survival. The evening air carried a cool dampness, brushing against the tall grass and the worn edges of the field. Shadows stretched long and distorted, blending the familiar shapes of rocks, roots, and fallen leaves into patterns that could conceal or reveal at a moment's notice. The mouse emerged from its burrow once more, driven by the persistent gnaw of hunger. Its small body moved carefully, paws barely disturbing the soft earth. Whiskers quivering with every sound and scent-dotted paused at the edge of a shallow depression. Sniffing the air, tiny insects crawled over the soil, and a few seeds lay scattered where birds had fed earlier. The mouse's eyes darted constantly, alert for movement. A predator could appear from any angle: land, sky, or brush. Every decision carried weight. Its survival depended on choosing the right moment to eat, the right path to move, and the right pause to wait. The dog, having completed a patrol along the outer edge of the field, now lingered near a grove of shrubs. Its ears rotated, detecting the faintest rustle of leaves. Its nose twitched with the myriad scents of small creatures, plants, and water. Hunger was present, but experience taught restraint. It would not pursue recklessly, understanding that patience often yielded more than force. Each movement was deliberate, calculated to maximize the chance of success while minimizing unnecessary risk. The fox slinked through the underbrush on the opposite side of the field, low to the ground, tail brushing lightly against the damp foliage. Eyes narrowed, muscles coiled, every sense engaged. It had learned the patterns of both the mouse and the dog, noting paths, pauses, and habits. Survival demanded this awareness, a constant reading of the environment and the behaviors of others within it. One miscalculation could waste hours or cost life itself. The mouse moved toward a cluster of berries beneath a fallen tree, tiny claws digging lightly into the soil as it foraged. Each bite was quick, efficient, yet careful, balancing the need for energy with the risk of exposure. Nearby, the dog shifted slightly, moving silently, nose low, scanning for traces of the mouse. The fox adjusted its angle, blending into the shadows, calculating whether intervention or patience would be the better strategy. A sudden rustling in the tall grass caused the mouse to freeze. Its body pressed against the earth, ears pointed, whiskers vibrating with tension. The dog's head swiveled, listening, muscles tightening in anticipation. The fox remained still, eyes sharp, observing the reactions of the smaller prey and the larger competitor alike. The ecosystem was alive with tension, each creature's behavior affecting the others in subtle, immediate ways. Minutes passed. The mouse, reassured by the absence of immediate danger, resumed feeding. Small insects and seeds were consumed carefully, each bite measured. The dog moved incrementally, scenting the air, noting disturbances in the soil, considering whether the energy spent in pursuit would outweigh the benefit. The fox, with patience honed over years, remained hidden, evaluating every twitch, every glance, every movement. Timing was everything. The sun dipped low, casting orange and gold hues across the landscape. The field seemed to shimmer under the warm light, each blade of grass and leaf outlined clearly. Shadows stretched long and unpredictable. The mouse retreated slightly toward cover, nibbling the last of the berries before pausing to survey the area. Its heart pounded, but calm nerves and instinct guided its steps. The dog, sensing the mouse's movement, began a careful approach. Steps were measured, body low, eyes locked on potential prey. It understood that a misstep could alert the mouse or attract the attention of the fox. The dance of predator and prey required balance, calculation, and patience. The fox, still unseen, shifted slightly to maintain line of sight. Its muscles remained coiled, tail brushing against the earth with deliberate softness. Every detail mattered: the wind, the scent, the timing of each breath. It had learned to wait, knowing that the perfect opportunity would appear without forcing it. The mouse, the dog, and the fox were all engaged in an intricate negotiation. Each movement a statement, each pause a decision. Night approached, and the first stars appeared, small and distant in the deepening sky. The field grew quiet in some areas, alive in others. The mouse retreated into thicker cover, only venturing out when absolutely necessary. The dog paused in a shaded area, conserving energy while remaining alert. The fox remained motionless, eyes glinting faintly in the moonlight, body perfectly still. Hunger, strategy, and instinct guided every action dot in the dim light. The mouse consumed small insects and seeds that remained near its hiding place. The dog sniffed around, occasionally moving closer to potential prey, but always maintaining a balance of caution. The fox calculated silently, knowing that a single moment of hesitation or misjudgment could alter the outcome. Each creature, in its own way, persisted, feeding, observing, surviving. The night deepened further. Crickets began their symphony. Insects flew near patches of light, and a distant owl called softly, echoing across the field. The mouse, dog, and fox continued their interplay, bound by instinct and circumstance. Food was consumed, energy replenished, and lessons were reinforced. The natural order persisted, unbroken and unspoken, as old as the land itself. Even as the moon rose high, the cycle of hunger, caution, and survival continued. The mouse would emerge again when the risk seemed manageable. The dog would patrol again, guided by hunger and instinct. The fox would remain patient, calculating, and waiting for the perfect moment. In the quiet, darkened field, life persisted in its relentless, unglamorous, yet perfectly balanced rhythm. The pre-dawn sky was tinged with faint hues of lavender and silver, the first light just brushing the tops of the hills. The air was cool, carrying the damp scent of earth and the faint aroma of flowering plants that had opened in the night. The mouse stirred in its burrow, restless and alert, sensing that the world was about to shift from the calm of night to the activity of day. Hunger had returned, subtle but insistent, and survival required movement. Its tiny paws moved cautiously over the soft soil as it emerged from the safety of its hiding place. Each step was deliberate. Every sound, no matter how faint, was assessed. The mouse found a small cluster of seeds near the edge of a patch of moss. It nibbled carefully, constantly scanning the surroundings. Even the slightest rustle could indicate danger, a dog's cautious approach, a fox's patient advance, or even another predator moving unseen. The dog had begun its morning patrol, moving along the edge of a shallow stream that cut across the field. Its senses were keen, nose tracing the faintest scents left overnight. Patches of disturbed earth, faint paw prints, and lingering aromas told stories invisible to human eyes. The dog moved with purpose, balancing the need to feed with the awareness that any sudden action could reveal its position to prey or competitors. Meanwhile, the fox shifted silently among the low shrubs, eyes alert and amber glinting in the pre-dawn light. It had studied the field, the behavior of the dog, and the habits of the mouse for days. Every movement was an investment in knowledge. The fox understood that timing was everything. One wrong step, one misjudged pause, and a potential meal would be lost. It waited, coiled and patient, observing both the mouse and the dog, the subtle dance of predator, prey, and rival unfolding before it. The mouse ventured further into a patch of damp soil where insects were emerging from the earth. Tiny claws dug carefully, pulling out small grubs and beetles. Every bite replenished energy, but also required vigilance. Its ears twitched constantly, whiskers vibrating with the faintest change in air pressure. Somewhere nearby, the dog had caught a scent and moved a little closer, muscles tense but restrained, aware that sudden movements could spook the mouse and alert the fox. The fox adjusted its stance, maintaining concealment while tracking both potential prey and competitor. It analyzed every detail: the breeze shifting through the grass, the rustle of leaves, the pause in the mouse's movement. Opportunity was not something to be forced. It appeared to those who observed with patience, those who understood timing and consequence. As the sun's first rays pierced the horizon, the field began to warm slowly. Birds flitted from branch to branch. Insects buzzed faintly in the grass, and the earth exhaled a damp, fertile aroma. The mouse retreated into partial cover under a fallen log, nibbling at the last of the insects before pausing to listen. The dog advanced cautiously, sniffing around, aware that the mouse's position was still tentative. The fox remained perfectly still, blending seamlessly with shadows, eyes focused and unblinking, waiting for a decisive moment that might never come. Hours passed in this careful tension. The mouse consumed what it could safely, each bite measured against risk. The dog circled slowly, seeking a way to gain advantage without expending unnecessary energy. The fox continued its silent observation, every subtle twitch and movement recorded and analyzed. The morning became midday, and the sun climbed higher, casting golden light that illuminated textures, shadows, and movements invisible in dimmer hours. The mouse moved strategically toward a small patch of wild berries. Each step was calculated, each pause a chance to assess. The dog, now resting momentarily in the shade of a small tree, remained alert, ears pivoting with every faint sound. The fox, still hidden, adjusted position slightly, calculating angles, distance, and wind. All three creatures, though different in size, instinct, and hunger, were bound together by the same rules: awareness, timing, and the delicate balance between risk and reward. Evening approached gradually, and the field's activity subtly shifted. The mouse retreated back into safer cover, having consumed enough to maintain energy. The dog remained near the edge of open space, conserving strength while observing. The fox, unhurried, lingered, fully aware that night would bring new opportunities, new patterns, and new chances to secure sustenance. Every moment in this field carried significance. Each small insect, every fallen seed, every movement in the grass was part of a larger rhythm of survival. The mouse, the dog, and the fox each lived by instinct and experience, aware that hunger, patience, and careful observation were the keys to another day's survival. As twilight approached, they all settled temporarily, each learning and adapting silently, ready for the inevitable continuation of the cycle. Twilight descended fully, painting the sky in deep shades of indigo and violet. A soft breeze carried the scent of damp earth, leaves, and distant water. The field, now cloaked in the quiet of approaching night, hummed with life, subtle yet persistent. The mouse emerged cautiously from its hiding place, tiny paws pressing lightly on the cool soil. Hunger, ever present, guided its movements, but so did experience, the wisdom of avoiding exposure, the instinctive knowledge of danger. It ventured toward a patch of seeds that had fallen near the base of an old oak. Every movement was measured, ears flicking, whiskers twitching, body pressed low to the ground. The mouse nibbled carefully, occasionally freezing to scan the surroundings. Each rustle of grass or snap of a twig could signal a predator's approach. The dog's deliberate patrol, the fox's calculated watch, or even the shadow of an unseen creature moving silently through the night. Survival depended on vigilance, speed, and timing. The dog, now fully awake and alert, patrolled the edge of the open field. Its ears rotated with every sound, nose picking up faint scents left by the mouse and other creatures. Hunger dictated action, but patience dictated success. The dog moved with careful deliberation, each step a negotiation between effort and reward. It circled slowly, watching the mouse's movements, waiting for a moment when advantage might present itself. From the shadows of dense underbrush, the fox observed quietly. Amber eyes gleamed in the faint moonlight, muscles coiled and ready. Its body was still, yet every sense was alive, tracking the movements of both the mouse and the dog. The fox knew that opportunity often arrived in subtle increments rather than sudden bursts. Timing, stealth, and calculation were as important as speed or strength. Tonight, patience might yield a meal or teach yet another lesson in the unrelenting dynamics of survival. The mouse, aware of both the dog and the fox, made slow progress toward a small cluster of berries hidden beneath a fallen tree. It nibbled efficiently, eyes scanning constantly, The dog shifted slightly, maintaining distance yet poised to act if the mouse moved into a vulnerable position. The fox, ever vigilant, adjusted its position subtly, ensuring a clear line of sight without revealing its presence. Hours passed in this quiet tension. The mouse consumed what it could safely gather, balancing nourishment with safety. The dog circled, occasionally pausing to analyze scents, movements, and potential threats. The fox remained motionless, eyes never leaving the scene, calculating every angle, every pause, every slight twitch of its prey and competitor. The field was a living chessboard, each move carrying weight, each decision shaping the next. As the night deepened, a sense of rhythm emerged. The mouse moved, the dog observed, the fox calculated. Shadows lengthened, moonlight glinted on dew-soaked grass, and distant calls of owls echoed through the trees. Every creature played its role, feeding, observing, surviving. The mouse's small meals sustained energy. The dog's vigilance conserved strength while remaining prepared, and the fox's patience preserved opportunity. A sudden rustle in the leaves caught the mouse's attention. It froze, pressed low against the ground, heart hammering. The dog's ears pricked, muscles tensing in anticipation. The fox remained perfectly still, reading the subtle signals from both prey and competitor. The moment stretched, quiet yet electric with possibility. Instinct, patience, and experience dictated the outcome. Minutes passed. The mouse, reassured by the lack of immediate threat, resumed feeding carefully. The dog, seeing no sudden movement, relaxed slightly, but remained vigilant. The fox, undisturbed, adjusted only subtly, coiled and ready for any change in the dynamic. The field remained a stage for survival, a continuous interplay of hunger, caution, and awareness. By the early hours of the night, the mouse retreated to its burrow, having gathered enough to sustain itself for the coming hours. The dog settled near the edge of the open field, alert but conserving energy, ready to respond if opportunity or threat appeared. The fox, blending into the shadows, remained patient, knowing that another chance would come. Guided by timing, patience, and observation, the field exhaled quietly under the pale light of the moon. The interplay of predator and prey, of cautious foraging and patient observation, had carried through another day and night. Each creature had consumed what it could, learned from its experiences, and survived to see another cycle. Hunger, patience, and instinct wove a seamless rhythm across the land, as old as time itself. Finally, as the stars glittered overhead and the night deepened, the field fell into a calm, almost meditative stillness. The mouse rested safely in its burrow, the dog remained watchful yet still, and the fox continued its quiet vigil, each having played its role in the unbroken cycle of life. Survival had been achieved, lessons had been learned, and the eternal rhythm of existence continued quietly, unobserved by all except those attuned to the subtle truths of nature. The night carried on, and in this simple, relentless reality, the field remained alive, full of creatures who ate, who watched, who waited, and who survived. And as dawn would return, the cycle would begin again, unaltered, unbroken, and profoundly real.